Hello and welcome. We have a great piece of content for you today. It's called Relieve Stress with this 4-step strategy. I'm going to show you a way to help reduce that stress level in your life. And I'm going to base it on an article I did recently called The 3 Keywords to Living a Happier and Fuller Life. And those 3 keywords are learn, apply, and practice. So we're going to use those, and we're going to use them in conjunction with my strategy to help you reduce that stress level in your life. So in case you've never met me before, my name is Nick Grimshaw, and I help people seeking to transform their lives to use the tools of affirmation, gratitude, mindfulness, and meditation to live that life they're seeking, to live that life of joy, fulfillment, purpose, whatever it is that you're seeking, that transformation you want to see in your life. And we use these tools to achieve those aims. Now, so today I want to really jump into this. I do have a freebie at the end of this, so stay tuned. In the show notes, I'll include a link, number 1, to the article I've referenced here about learn, apply, and practice. And I will also include a freebie on how to write those affirmations we talk about a little later on. So let's start right in with what is this living in stress? Why do we want to reduce stress? And I think that's pretty obvious for most people, is that at one point our flight response was survival instinct. So you hear a rustle in the bushes and you don't do an affirmation back then because you'd be dead before you finish the affirmation, right? You either get ready to fight or you flee because you don't know what the danger is in that bush. That's way back in our timeline. It was a survival instinct. It helped us survive on the savannas in the African savanna. But here in this day and age, it's a contra survival instinct. And so we have this leftover instinct that we've turned on full out. So if you go back to our ancestry, we would use that fight and flight response in any particular situation, but it wouldn't be turned on all the time. It would happen when we heard something or we saw something visually, and that alerted us to get ready. But in our environment now, we're in this constant stress level. We are constantly looking out for that thing that we need to defend against or run from or pretend doesn't even exist. So what's happened is that stress response that was so helpful before has become a hindrance, a burden. Now it still has value, and we don't want to eliminate that, because when we see a danger or hear a danger, then our body is set to react and to look after our personal survival. And that's important. But when the stress level is all the time, then we put a burden on our system, our hormones of stress. We're constantly releasing hormones into our body that are only supposed to be used in a moment of real stress to help us, give us the energy to run or the strength and power to fight. But all those chemicals are being released and nothing's happening with them. So we're creating an imbalance in our body. And that's part of the reason why we have these stress-related illnesses in our life because we've turned on the strengths survival instinct and we've left it on. We haven't turned it back off. So part of what we're going to do today is to look at where we're spending our energy, and we're going to use that first keyword, learn. We're going to learn some things about ourselves, and then we're going to figure out how to practice, how to apply what we learn, and then we're going to come up with some practices to help us reduce that stress level. So the first place we want to look, and it's always, if we don't know what's happening, if we live in that treadmill, we're like a hamster on that spinning wheel, and we can't get off because we don't have a clear idea of what we want to get off that spinning wheel for. Now, we might have like a dream out there or a goal out there, but we don't really have a lot of clarity on it because we don't really understand where we're expending our energy and why at the end of the day, we really don't feel like we have any energy to do anything else but maybe watch an hour of television before we go to bed. So what we want to do is take a close look at where we're spending our energy, because this goes to Joe Dispenza's whole idea that where we put our attention, our energy flows. So what are those energy leeches in your life? Do you know what they are right this moment? Can you name off those things that are leeching your energy so that when you get home at night or you finish and you close up your office door in your home office and you wonder why you have no energy left? Do you know what robbed you of your energy during the day? And that's our first step. So I'm not a high-tech kind of person. I believe in simple, easy ways of doing things. And I really, truly believe that using pen and paper is magical, even now in our modern day. And I use all kinds of apps on my computer to keep track of everything I'm doing. One of my favorites is Notebook. And I have everything. My whole life is in notes. So what's it called? I think it's a Notebook. Let me just check here because I'm forgetting the name. OneNote. OneNote. I use OneNote for almost everything. It kind of, where I need to find something, I know where to go and find it, and it's all organized in OneNote. So for this exercise today, what I want you to do is use a piece of paper. Now you'll notice that these are my notes for today, but you notice that it's blank. And I want you to take a piece of blank paper. Simple process, especially if you have legal paper, it works even better. You do this, nice and neat, Nick, keep it nice and neat. Okay. And now we're going to do a discovery. We're going to do a process of listing and discovering where those energy leeches go. And also discovering where would we like to spend our energy? What would we really love to spend our energy on? So what you're going to do is on one side, you're going to write on one side, where am I spending my energy now? Let's take a look at your life and look at where all your energy is going. What's robbing you? What is those energy leeches in your life? And start writing them down one after the other. So places to look. In the morning when you get up, what's the first thing you do in the morning when you get up? If you're reaching for your cell phone and looking at messages or looking at social media, now you're spending time on your phone in the morning, which is some of the most valuable time you have. and where you're putting your energy. So you're putting your energy onto your cell phone and it's absorbing your energy. So right away, you've begun the process of leaching energy. What else? What else goes on in your day that causes you to, that sucks up your energies? Let's look at your job, look at your circumstances. What are you worried about? So stress is about anxiety, worry, anger, fear, overwhelm. So what's overwhelming you right now in your life? Write it out. Write it down. What are you worried about? What things are you worried about right now in your life? What are your immediate priorities? What are you spending all your time doing? Okay, so start creating that list of things where you're focusing your energy right now, where you're putting your attention on. What are those things that are leaching your energy? Because when you live in the emotions of stress, when you live in that constant fear, that constant overwhelm, that constant drive that I've got to do this, I've got to get that done, the overwhelm, the overload that's part of our everyday life these days. What are those things? What are those things that you feel you can't let go of because somebody's got to do them and it's you. You're the one who has to do them. So let's look at that. And you can, and it's a thought process. So it's the thought part we're doing is our spiritual thought, our ideas, our 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 activities to look at how we're spending our time right now. So once you've done that and you've made that list and you can see and you go, okay, I'm spending my time on my job, I'm spending my time cleaning up in the house, I'm spending my time watching television at night, I'm cooking meals, I'm going to the gym 6 times a week, I'm committed to taking my children to basketball every week or hockey or whatever it is, I'm doing this, and this. And of course, you have no time to be part of to be on a spiritual journey. Like, where's the time to do that, right? So this is what the whole process is. We have to know where we're at before we can begin to look at where we want to be. So we get clarity here, and now we want to start, where would we really like to intentionally place our energy? So at work, what is the thing that you most need to learn, or in your job, or whatever it is at home, however you want to look at that? What can you do to improve your situation? What would the ideal job look like for you? Number one, what job would you like to put your attention on? What hobbies would you like to explore? What books would you like to read? What people would you like to hang out with? What friends would you like to have? What kind of family relationships would you like to have? And start listing down how you would like to see your life, how you would like to spend your energy if you could do that. So don't use time. Time is our biggest excuse. So don't use that as you're thinking about all the things that you can focus your energy towards. Okay, so it takes time. You may not get this exercise part done today, but just start it. Create that piece of paper and start writing down. I would suggest that you observe what you do for a week and find those key points where you're putting energy that really aren't serving you, that are just serving the stress environment that you live in. Okay. And then some thinking about if you could have the best job in the world, what would that be to you? If you could, what would your daily, a perfect day look like to you? What are some key things you could do in your job to improve your situation? If your job is a situation. Though basically we have 5 areas of life that we work in, and one of them is personal. What's our personal desires and goals and wishes? Family. What is it we would like to see in our family? What would we like to give? What is our vision for our family? Our job, finances, business, that's all wrapped up. So maybe you have a business, you have a job, you're working on financial goals. What are those? What are your inspirational goals? Not, I need to make enough money to pay the rent at the end of the month or pay the mortgage at the end of the month. No, 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 that's survival. So we want to transfer or transform your thinking from survival, right, to planning an outcome for creating the life you want to live. So we're going to being dictated to how we want to live, to planning or creating how we want to live. This is the change that we're working on in doing this exercise. And this exercise can be done, you could do it like every 6 months or once a year or every week, every month, whatever really helps you start to shift your focus. And where you put your focus, remember, is where your energy goes. And so we want to shift it to something that you actually want to be doing. That's something that you love to be doing, that makes you feel inspired and joyful and happy inside. Not this constant trying to make your boss happy, trying to, you get a call from your boss and says, I want to talk to you on Friday. It's Tuesday. I want to talk to you on Friday. And what do you do now? What do you do for the rest of the week? You spend your time focused on what he said and trying to figure out what he's going to be talking to you about. He's going to fire me. Is he not happy with something I'm doing? He's going to reprimand me. He's going to demote me. You spend all this time churning away at what that experience is going to be. You have no idea. But this is where our mindset, our living in survival goes. And not once do we really have a positive inclination about this. Yet on Friday, finally, after all that stress, we enter his office and he sits down and he says, Jennifer, that I have to compliment you on how you've been performing over the last 2 months. I've seen a dramatic change in your attitude and your work ethic, and I want to commend it, and I want to commend it in a financial way. I'm going to give you a raise of $500 a month because I want to compliment and reward that performance on your part. Completely never thought of that, right? Because you've lived in the emotions of stress. So that's what we want to break that chain. This is what this strategy is, breaking you out of living in those stress hormones. Once you start to reduce your stress, now it's known that people under a heavy stress load get ill more often, miss more time at work, have challenges coping with everyday life situations, have increased problems with heart, pulmonary, all of these things that come from stress. And as you relieve that stress, you enter that area of calmness, that bubble of calm. You begin to build a bubble of calm around yourself that is wonderful all on its own. And now you're moving in the direction of what serves you. Okay? So, so it's I would take a week to work on the exercise. Give yourself a week. Each day is a little different, so you might see different things each day. Once you have that list compiled, now it's time to do the next step, and you need another sheet of blank paper. Blank. And there's a really important reason why I really stress blank paper. Lines automatically restrict your thinking. They restrict your creativity. Because now you're thinking about staying between the lines. You've got a grid pattern. Your mind is focused on the grid, not in that liberation of white space that's all around you when you work with a blank sheet of paper. So please use blank paper. It doesn't matter whether you keep everything on neat, straight lines. If you're somebody who's like obsessive about that, then it's time to let it go when you do this exercise and not worry how pretty it looks. Worry about getting the information, getting to really know what's going on in here. Why am I in this turmoil? Why am I constantly battling like this? Because you know deep down inside of yourself, this isn't how you want to live. This isn't where you're going to find the joy. This is not where you're going to find the elevated emotions such as joy, happiness, love, gratitude, all of those high level, high vibrational emotions are waiting for you outside of your stress bubble. They're not within. So that's our work. We're working. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's really important to understand. So once you've seen where your stress leeches are, you have an idea of where you want to go. Then the next thing is to apply what you learn. How are you going to apply this information? So now you're writing out ideas that you can do to get yourself off that treadmill and moving more towards creating that life you really want to live. Okay, so there's looking at, so you've done this audit, you've taken a look at where you're spending your attention. So now what's the solution? If your energy goes where you place your attention, then the solution is to put your attention on something else. Okay, so what things can you do to shift that mindset away from living in stress to living a healthier, more enjoyable, more rewarding lifestyle? Okay, so make a note. What can you do to change your situation at work? And this is really important to understand. You don't necessarily have to change your job, but you do have to change how you think about your job. And one of the biggest changes in my life is when I really understood that, because I had a job I didn't like. I didn't find that it was fulfilling. It wasn't fulfilling those things inside of me that I really wanted to use, that inspiration, helping people. So I just didn't feel that I was doing that. But then I had a manager. I had a store manager who sat me down and said, you know, you're really good at doing this, this, and this, and this. I want you to start focusing on higher level teaching. I want you to start looking more at managing your team rather than putting out little fires every day. So I want you to move and elevate your game to doing and helping your team achieve those things that you set goals for. And when I started working that way, when I started to give up putting out fires, because that's what I thought my job was, and I started to instead inculcate in my team those goals and aspirations and using inspirational material, and all of a sudden I'm doing the things I wanted to do. And my whole attitude to my job shifted. So I'm talking about things like that for you. One of them could be a family meeting, and it could be, and here's another key thing that I really, really want you to get. This is about changing you. It's not about changing somebody else. It's about changing you. So it's not about changing your children. It's not about changing your husband. It's about changing how you look at things. And again, the great Wayne Dyer quote is, when you change the things you look at, the things you look at change. Something like that. I don't have it quite right. But now you have a meeting and say, look, I for my own health, and I need to change the way things are working, and I need to change them for me. And I'm going to be doing some different things over the next week or so. And they may surprise you, they may not, but I would like your support in helping me make those changes. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm not asking you to change anything, but I am asking you to support me in the changes that I would like to do, right? And then it could be a family conversation about what you're looking to change, and maybe they go, you know what, I would like to change that too, and you begin to bring other people on board. But the purpose of the meeting is really to get family support for what you're going to do. Don't try to change anybody else in your family, because you already need enough attention. You need to focus your attention on the changes you want to make, so that the energy you have goes to those things. So a family meeting, that could be one of your strategies that you use. You're going to sit down and go, you know what, I can't take everybody to all their different sports activities. Can we work out a way to do this in another way? Whatever. And sit down and sort of strategize with your family about how they can support you doing this. And the thing is to remember to work small, not try to change the world overnight, not trying to change your whole stress environment overnight, but pick something that you can work on right now, that you can change your energies, focus your energies there. So it could be as simple as doing affirmations, and that you decide that you're going to do some you're going to write affirmations. You can write down affirmations about the area you want to change in your life, so that you make affirmative statements about those important things you want to change in your life. And again, I would suggest maybe you have a schedule. 1 week you're going to work on affirmations about your work. So you, instead of thinking negatively about your work, let's pick 5 affirmations about your work that are positive, that they're uplifting, that are encouraging you. And now your attention is, instead of going on all that negativity, it's moving towards positive things. And you'll be absolutely surprised how a little activity like doing affirmations, when you wake up in the morning for 5 minutes, you're going to do affirmations. Okay? So this is the ideas that you want to be working on, and then start listing them, your ideas, on a piece of paper. And again, the idea is to stay small. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're already overwhelmed by stress. So don't do or try to do things that are going to be over. I'm going to quit my job and start looking for a new one. And my husband, I don't know how he's going to come up with the money to pay the mortgage, but I'm not going to care about that. I'm quitting my job. Don't go and create more stress in your solution. Your solution has to be based on moving energy from one spot to the other, not creating another crisis. We're trying to eliminate the fires you already have, not create more. Okay, so on this sheet of paper, you're just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do affirmations. I'm going to write 5 affirmations about my work. I am going to bring flowers to my office to make the space look more comfortable. Okay, so in this case we're going to focus on improving your work environment. I am not going to get involved in the negative conversation that's going on in my office. Okay, I'm going to focus on talking about positive things to my coworkers. They're not going to be used to that. But now you're shifting your energy away from negative to positive. You're shifting your mindset away from not being happy with your work to finding ways to make your work more pleasurable. Okay? And whatever you decide to do here, right? That's your strategy. This is your list of 5 things you're going to do. So maybe you have 5 things you're going to change over the next month. You're going to work on this. So it's a 1-month plan. Okay? Keep it small. Keep it small. Keep it small. Small things lead to big changes. Believe me, it's absolutely true. Okay, so now you've got this. And now you're going to do the final part of the learn, apply, because now you've thought out, okay, these are the things I would like to spend my energy on. How am I going to spend my energy on them? What am I going to do? And finally, it's practice. And practice means you're going to devote a time in a place, written on a schedule, to do these things, because you've heard it 1,000 times. You probably heard it from your boss. What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. So you have these ideas that you want to do affirmations in the morning. So, okay, you're going to spend, when you wake up in the morning, you have your list of affirmations by the bed, and you're going to sit and read them before you get out of bed. That takes what? 1, 2, 3 minutes at the most. Creating them a little longer. I have the solution for creating them down below in a freebie for you down below this video. So look for that and download it and use it. It's how to write and use powerful I am affirmations. So, and it's a easy 6-step formula. No sweat, no stress. Believe me. So in your schedule, you're going to schedule that. I am not going to look at my cell phone for the first hour of my day, and make that a rule that you don't look, because what's in your cell phone? That's so important first thing in the morning. An email from your boss telling you need to move up the date of completing that project. An email from Auntie Sue saying that she's so disgusted with her neighbor she wants to shoot her. Everyday stuff. All those things. The news. There's been a killing here, earthquake in somewhere, and blah, blah, blah. Those are energy robbers. That's where you're spending your energy, and it's sucking you dry of energy. So that when you come home at night, you have no time to change your schedule. You're just like, I'm done. I'm going to sit in front of the television, and I'm going to watch my favorite soap for an hour before I go crawl into bed, to start doing the whole thing over again tomorrow. So it's the final step is scheduling. It's practice, putting what you've formulated into a practice that you're going to do on a consistent basis. And there are simple ones that anybody can do. Eliminate television news from your life. It's a disaster. It's all bad. It's stress related, and it's not serving you in any way. So as an example, I have a headline reader in my app That's all it is. I spend 10 minutes in the morning and I quickly go through the headlines. If there's anything that's really critical to me, then I'll look at it. But 29 times out of 30 in a month, there's no such thing. Nothing that's going to critically impact my life right now, or what I'm doing, or where I'm trying to focus my energy. So there are all kinds of ideas like this. If you want, I'll put another one down about getting a better night's sleep, because that's part of what happens with stress, and we get so that we can't sleep. So I have an article. I'll put that in the show notes as well for you. So that's basically it. You're going to explore all the air, why you're living in stress. Where are you focusing your energy? Because that's where your energy is going. Is if you're worrying, if you're compulsive, if you've got anxiety, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like compressed by negativity in your life, or things are just not the way you thought they would be, then that's where you're placing your energy. You're focusing on your energy. You're gonna look at where you would like to place your energy, and then create a strategy from moving your focus from those things that don't serve you to the stress emotions of fear, overwhelm, anxiety, stress, all of those things, and you're going to focus them on things that bring you more love, more peace, more calmness, tranquility, happiness, joy, all of those things, where you're going to move your energy. Then you're going to go, how do I apply what I've learned about myself? Because that's your next step. And finally, where do I schedule that? Where do I schedule doing that? So for instance, if it's to improve your job skills so that you can move up in your business and earn more money because you have a different level of ability, then how do you do that? You carve out an hour in the evening and go, okay, guys, I need from 8 to 9 as my time, and maybe you go into YouTube, or you find a course online to take, or there are no excuses anymore for not being able to find what you need to change the conditions and circumstances in your life. It's all there for you. Google and YouTube, to me, if you can't find it on Google or YouTube, it doesn't exist in the universe right at this moment. Okay? So keep that in mind. And do the practice and actually do the scheduling. Schedule it in. That's my schedule, right? And I basically I'm focusing my attention on the things I want to do, not the stuff somebody else wants me to do. And it sounds selfish. It may sound selfish. It's not, because it's that ripple in the pond. And please remember this, especially women, because they feel like they're somehow betraying their family, or letting their family down because they're no longer super mom, or they no longer want to be super mom and do all these things. Because you think that it's selfish to work on yourself, that you're taking time away from your family. Somehow that's happening. But really what's happening is, as you create that space and you start shifting the energy where you want the energy to go, and start creating the life you want to live, then that's the ripple in the pond. And that ripple spreads out around you and includes your family, and you will see changes in your family unexpectedly. You haven't asked anybody to do anything or change anything, but your example, your center of calmness, your ability to handle a crisis without getting totally stressed out, will start to impress and impact those around you. And then you'll see something in your daughter, your son, or your husband that's a change that you didn't ask for, but happens because of it. So when you shift that energy to where you really want to focus your attention, and it's the best thing you can do is to do that analysis of where you're wasting your energy, where you really want to put your energy, and you will see life-changing occurrences if you schedule and do it. Very important. Learn is thought, apply is mind, practice is body. The actions you do to create those changes. Okay, and again, don't stress the thing. Just sit down and work on it. It may take you a week, maybe it takes you 2 weeks. But at the end of 2 weeks, you have this plan, maybe for a month, or something you're going to try for a month, and note the changes. Note the changes. Write about it. Journal about the changes. And you are going to see change. You're going to see the magic begin to flow back into your life. Synchronicities will happen that are magical. When one of those synchronicities happen, it is like magic. It's a thrill to experience one of those. And they start to occur constantly. They start popping up in your life because the work you are doing and the energy you are expending is going in the direction that you want to live. It's intentional now. You're not just spinning your wheels, caught up in everything the day's feeding you and reacting to it and so on. You're now making that change towards a more perfect future for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for the world. So try it out and download my freebie on how to write and use affirmations in your life. It's simple and easy to do. The ones you write yourself are very powerful. I also will leave a link to my Facebook group, my Be Inspired Enthusiast, where you can get some courage and you can talk about your process. Drop me a note. Let me know how you've done with this, because I'm really, really interested in knowing how you were able to apply this, if there's any changes I need to make in this exercise to make it clearer for you to use. Okay? Until the next time, dream big, live inspired.